could go up to a woman, right? And I could say, do you have children, right? And, she's kind of disrespecting me or whatever, and that's fine. I say, well, guess what, hon? Childbirth doesn't hurt. You're nothing more than a liar, okay? You just want drugs, you're an addict, and that's it. And then the response comes, how do you know? So what are you trying to say? That I never experienced giving childbirth, so I can't give you the business? Just remind yourself. So just because you have the ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm interested. So we're live, by the way, but I wanted to get in before we sort of do general introductions
sure.
that what's happened with your most recent video, and it's been interesting watching your channel grow. Since you started, but this one, only 1 billion with survival. About you talked a bit about World War III. It wasn't the only thing, but yeah, I'm interested in why you think that was so polarizing for people, because it's not things that you haven't talked about before, but it just seemed to be a lot of people picked up on it this time.
I think it's really because people are beginning to awaken. Okay, whether something is stirring inside them. Okay, and they're scared. To be honest with you, they don't know what it is. But the only belief that they have is or language that they have that they grew up in was their religion. Okay. So most people are talking or relying on one thing, and that is the Bible. Okay. The Bible, if you watched my video on the greatest lie ever told, saying that the Bible was written by rich, powerful men 2 millennia ago. And they really wrote Jesus or Yeshua out of the Bible. His gospel isn't in there. His wife's gospel and the gospel of Thomas in there. If any of you have read that, then you will know who Jesus was. So all they can do is formulate their decisions on the Bible. And the Bible is, as I said it before, is wrong. And they don't like hearing that. It'd be like telling them, do you believe in Santa Claus? And when, and they look at you stupid, and that's fine. But it's true. Your mom told you Santa Claus is real. You believed it until it was proven wrong. Well, people are proving the Bible wrong all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And they're still holding on to that little snippet that they read in the Bible that resonates with them, and that's what they'll hold on to. So people get upset by that. And that's fine, because what I'm doing is I'm making them see the ugliness inside them. Okay. And that's why they get defensive. That's why they get, upset and will explode at me. Right. Because they know somewhere within them that it's right. And they don't like it because they not necessarily don't like me, but they don't like what they see within themselves, because that's what they're seeing, whether they can resonate with that or not. Right. So, and I think that's why, when I talked about World War III, it upset them. I got many comments saying, quit talking about the doom and gloom, and that's not what it's about. I said, no, this is what's coming. It's your choice. You have free will since the time you popped out of mom to believe or not believe or do what you want to do. Right. So by them getting upset, again, it's just me showing them their ugliness. And then I've done my job, and then there's those that it resonates so deeply and profoundly with, which is like 90 to 95% of my followers. They are, praise and, like I agree, but they won't, the other ones, they have the right to remain in the darkness. They have the right to remain at the bottom of the ladder. And that's fine, so I just didn't expect it to explode like that, but, that means I just hit a sensitive issue,
Yeah,
so.
Really hit on a nerve. Yeah, look, it's great to be joining it. So we've got a few people logging in. I thought, everyone knows who you are, Jason, and if you knew, maybe just tell people how we met initially.
All right, everybody that's here, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And my co-host today is Rob Flynn. He actually contacted me, and I was his first interview. And, I helped his channel grow. Started last year. And while he was doing his live sessions, nobody was there. So I popped up and I supported, and we had some really great conversations. And I really got his channel to grow. And then I was going through a rough time, and I started my own YouTube channel because Father said it's time. So I started it, and he graciously said, for all that you've done for me, I would like to, I will help you edit your videos and get your YouTube channel up and running. And so my co-host today is Rod Bland, and I'm very grateful for him co-hosting tonight. So everybody, welcome Rod.
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty wild ride actually watching your channel grow. So yeah, who would have thought
I don't know.
it'd be where it is.
Yeah.
That people would resonate with it quite as well as what they have. It's been really good to see. So I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping as far as questions go. So the reason why Jason's got me here today is to help manage questions in the flow of conversation, so he can just talk and not worry about any of that. So hi Susie, thanks for tuning in. That's a great handle, Susan McCheese.
Hi.
So if you are just tuning in, don't be shy, say hi in the chat, let us know where you're from. And if you do have a question, just so that I can filter those out between the comments and the question, just put a Q in front of it, and then we'll pick that up. And I guess we'll probably be here for at least an hour or so. But if you've got something that you want to ask Jason, then by all means throw that into the chat. And yeah, it's a pretty we don't have any at the moment, Jason. So yeah, you were saying before about you've been seeing a lot of synchronistic numbers.
Yes.
Duplicates.
Starting a couple weeks ago. Now I've been meditating now coming up on a year. And I've heard a lot of people talk about, hey Steve, about repeating numbers. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, so on and so forth. But about 2 weeks ago, I went to bed, and this was the start of it. I went to bed at 9. And the non-physical or home wakes me up between about 1 o'clock in the morning all the time. Every day I'm up. So I went to bed, and that night I woke up and I thought, oh God, here we go. And I rolled over and grabbed my phone, and it's 11:11 p.m. And I'm like, oh, because we were just talking about it in a meeting that we were having, right? Repeating numbers and what they mean and stuff like that. And this has never happened to me before. So that was early Friday morning. Friday night I went to bed, right? And I woke up at 4:44 in the morning. And it has been a roller coaster of numbers. I'm at work earlier this week. I think it was on a Monday or Tuesday. I was looking at paperwork, and at the start of the 6-digit number was 444. And I got this really deep sensation. And I looked at the time, it was 10:10 a.m. Come on. That is direct communication from the non-physical right there. They are, and I got done meditating last Sunday. I opened my eyes, the clock was 12:12 p.m. Okay. That is direct communication from the non-physical, and, I started looking into these numbers, and 444 is strength and abundance. But what was the word that we used? Stability.
There was two things. Yeah, stability. Yeah, it's an alignment number too. If you look at it from a numerology perspective, it's to do with being on the correct life path.
Right. So, I'm seeing 11:11, 555, 222, 333, 111 consistently on a daily basis. Just now when we were talking and we were getting set up, you said, what time is it? And I looked up, and it was 555. Direct communication from your guides in the non-physical. Pay attention, guys. That is direct communication from your guides, from home, from Father, letting you know that you are on your right path, that you are right where you need to be. Those are direct messages from home.
Well, actually, I've got a question, because this is something I often see in your comments, is that you and this kind of people get a bee in their bonnet about your reference to Father, and I know what you're referring to, and that's how you refer to source or the universe, or however you like to call it. But perhaps just so that people understand what you mean when you say Father, because it depends on your, if you've got a religious upbringing, you're going to think that's something different to what you may be meaning.
Right. During my youth, when I was Catholic and Christian, when I was going to church as a little boy in the 70s, 343, that's cute. So I always called him God, Jesus, and, just what the Bible, what I grew up with, right? So, but then my death occurs April 2nd of 2020, and this is where I got Father from, and it's not from Jesus in the Bible when he said, "I and the Father are one." Now you'll understand is the moment I transitioned home and I was out of my body and I was ensconced in that unbelievable light and love, I felt like I was his one and only son. The love that was bestowed on me was, there's just no words to describe it. There's simply nothing that can describe it. So I felt like I was his one and only son. And that is where I got the term father, where it felt natural. It felt, I don't know, just natural. Like it was something I've always called him, Father. Others call him Source, God, whatever. He doesn't care, But to me, the love that was bestowed on me was immense. And I will call him Father for the rest of this timeline. And it may piss people off. I don't care. You can call God, Source, whatever, all that is. All that I am, but that's where I got the term Father from. It had nothing to do with Jesus when he said, "I and the Father are one," right? That was when everybody was going to stone him. And he was simply saying, and that was my way of also saying that I and the Father are one. When I became one with everything, including my Father. And that is why I will use the term Father. It is my love for my Father, so, and if it upsets people, that's all right, call them what you want. So that's where I got the term Father from, right? So it's all love. It is all love.
So how's your health been, buddy? I know you've gone through some stages of, where it's not been great, and you've had to deal with a lot of things. I still, your original near-death experience story, oh man, that's still hard to listen to in terms of like human suffering. But yeah, what's it been like recently?
Let's see. Okay, so last August, I went through a profound change. When I was really in the height of my ascension, and prior to that, I was getting really sick again. I was really lethargic, really, really tired, missing a lot of work because I just couldn't get out of bed. Brutal headaches. I was very, very dizzy. I was waking up in the middle of the night. I don't know what time it was, but I would be like just straight like this, but I'd roll over to the right and it would be literally a puddle of water that would come over the top of my stomach, and it was ice cold. So I'd roll to the right, same thing. I would soak the mattress, and I would get up, move to the couch, and I would wake up in the same puddle, right? I went from 257 pounds, and I'm now down to 188 pounds.
Sorry, did you say 257 to 180? Wow.
188, right. So the doctors, when my company went in, said, "You have to go to the doctor," because I was shaking and my pants were falling off and everything was just like, I couldn't function. I was falling out of the shower. I was so dizzy that I would fall out of the shower. I'd lose my balance and topple out of the shower, or I'd fall against the wall. I was holding onto the walls to walk. I was so dizzy, extreme backaches. And so I went to the doctor. Long story short, the company fired me, but then they put me in, they wanted me to come in and have, they were worried about the extreme weight. Well, you don't lose 65 pounds in a month without something being wrong, right? Or so they thought. So yeah. I went in and they wanted a colonoscopy, thinking I had cancer of the colon probably. And because I wasn't eating, I would eat maybe once every 4 days, and it would be like a half an egg salad sandwich.
Wow.
And that's all I would eat. Right. And he says, "You have to eat." And I said, "I don't want to. I'm not hungry." And so they went in to do the colonoscopy. Then they went into my stomach. They did biopsies of the colon in my stomach. Nothing wrong. 12 vials of blood. Nothing wrong. Perfect. They did EKG. Everything was perfect. They had no explanation.
Wow.
And I'm still going through little spurts of that, but really what's happening is my ascension. We're transitioning right now into a different type of body. So we're going from the carbon-based body to a crystalline-based body, which means your cells are now developing silica, right? Which, when formed, absorbs what? Light, right? So as our bodies are changing into that, because Gaia is changing, Mother Earth, right? So we're being inundated with a higher frequency of light and energy. The carbon body could not sustain that. So we're transitioning into this body right now, the crystalline body, and that's what part of the ascension process is everybody's going through it right now, but it hit me very, very hard, and it still is a little bit right now. And everybody should be, they might experience those dizziness, really lethargic, backaches, headaches, vomiting, intense sweating. And that's because the intense sweating comes from your higher self when you're sleeping is hovering right above you. And the non-physical is warm. So that heat in our, meshing was causing the extreme sweating. So that's what was going on. And it's still going on. And the weight loss is still coming. Like, I donate blood now. And I went in 2 weeks ago, it was 192. And now it was, when I went in this last weekend, it was 188 pounds. So I went from 257 pounds and I'm now down to 188. So this ascension process, it's brutal. You may lose your job. You may lose, everything, friends, everything, because you're beginning to change. What once fit you in your life is no longer suitable for you, and you will, move in the direction that you're meant to go. And that may mean dropping family members, dropping a spouse, dropping jobs. You may be working in a high-end job, and you may literally become, open up your own store and become a gardening specialist. You're following your guidance system now, and it's becoming more and more profound. So that's what's been happening with me, and then the last video just broke the bank and got, quite a few people upset, which, again, I was okay with. It made them wake up. That's why I'm here,
So talking about actually, I was reading something last night. I'm reading a book. It's the lady who wrote the biography of Jesus Christ, who I cannot remember her name at the moment, but it'll come to me. She's written another one, which is 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Tina Louise?
Yes.
Tina Louise Spalding.
That's it. Well done. Yep. Anyway, yeah, so she's written, I really enjoyed her book. I had zero religious upbringing, as you know, but I really enjoyed her book, which is the biography of Jesus Christ. And then now she's also written 4 Days and 40 Nights, which I've just started to read. So the idea is that you read one chapter each day. And I like so she, for those who don't know Tina Louise Spalding, she's a channel, and she's channeled many different celebrities, but also Jesus Christ as well, which is a really fascinating book, and it's one that I recommend everybody read, no matter what you think you know about Jesus, and saying how that planet Earth is, and the solar system is like moving, to a different space within the universe, and we're on board, so we really don't have any choice. We're kind of like, we're on the ride, and we've got to go with it as well.
You have to remember that, a lot of people don't understand this too, is that the universe isn't real. It's a part of our imagination. We're creating it, right? So what is the universe? Because we are gods. We are creators, right? And, we're your protectors and creators. So the universe is alive, right? Meaning that it is consciously aware of itself. And by no means make this mistake. The universe knows exactly who you are and where you are at all times. So with that being said, like when people experience a hellish NDE, you still have access to your technically physical brain when you transition over, okay? And when you are in negative feelings or negative thoughts in the void or in that in the realm there, you manifest that instantly. Where here, you know, if you want negative and you're living in negativity, it's going to come back to you in a day or 2 or 3 days or whatever, right? There it happens and it manifests instantly. So the universe is alive. It is not just some random thing that is just, you know, fake. It is alive. It is it's creating itself. Stars are forming, galaxies are forming, and it's all coming from us. It is very much aware of all of us. So yes, when you say it is moving, yes, we are transitioning into a higher vibration and frequency. So we are all, as I said, ascending in consciousness, and that's why our bodies are changing, because they would not be able, the carbon-based body would not be able to withstand what is coming our way in that higher frequency and that intense knowledge that is coming. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know in your early experiences, and I haven't asked you about this for a while, you had some encounters with Archangel Michael. So I can't remember if it was before or after your NDE. I think it was before, actually.
After.
Has he showed up in your life at all since then?
I had my guide show up. So this Easter, I was like, I'm not going to, because I'm no longer Christian. So I know that bullshit of Easter and all of that is garbage. If any of you guys want to come into the studio, you just have to ask, you know, Rod, and he'll, you know, if you want a one-on-one with me quick, we can answer some questions. But
yeah, we can. How can we do that? Yeah, I'll get a link and I'll put that, if you're interested, I'll put a link.
Put it in there. Let them come in. That's the whole idea of this.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? But I do want a good meal. So it was literally that Friday night, and now pay attention to this, because this was so surreal about the Matrix being breached. So I walk into the store, right? I'm in a good mood. I'm going to get a prime rib and I'm going to get some stuff. And so I walk in and there's a mom, I would say in her early 30s, beautiful looking being, right? And then there was like a 3-year-old in the cart, and she was fussing and crying, but they literally paid absolutely no attention to me, right? I just saw them. I looked at them. Okay, right? So I went about my way getting my stuff. I'm like, oh, olive oil. So I'm going down, and as you know, grocery aisles here in the States, they're long, man. They're really long. So I'm about a good quarter of the way in, like way in. And I'm sitting there like this, and I'm like, where the hell is the olive oil? Now all of a sudden, right in front of me is the mom and the girl, the 2-year-old in the shopping cart, right? And they just seem to be standing there. You know, I looked at them, didn't pay no mention. And I'm sitting here looking like this. Where's my olive oil? And then all of a sudden, right here, I see a black mask walk through the groceries. And I looked up, and I'm like, you know, the end of the aisle's a good 20 feet away. I'm like, and he's like, hi. Now, this is a completely different figure. In a little goatee, very young, leather jacket on. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, now the mom and the baby are just frozen, like nobody's moving, nobody's walking by, nothing. And I'm like, he said, would you be interested in a Bible study? I said, no. I said, no. I said, the Bible's wrong. I want no part of it, young man. I thank you for asking me. He says, the Bible's wrong. And I said, yeah. I said, no, I'm not interested. He said, what, the second coming of Christ? And I said, there is no second coming of Christ. And he's just smiling at me, right? And I'm just looking at him like, and again, I'm trying to I was like, 1 and 1 is, okay, what's going on here, right? So we're talking, and I said, he goes, well, Jesus, I said, Jesus walks this earth every day, okay? He incarnates every day for a simple little mission to meet someone, say something, hey, how are you? Whether they said F off to him or not. And he walked in front of me, right? And as he was walking in front of me, those two, the little kid and the mom, they disappeared. They were gone. like whoop, gone. No sound of the grocery cart moving, no footsteps. So I'm looking at him now, and we're talking a little more. And he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Look, young man," I said, "look," I said, "no, the Bible's wrong." I said, "I want no part of it." I said, "I'm honored that you think so." And I said, he shook my hand. And when he shook my hand, it was cold, like not like freezing cold in temperature. It was dead. There was nothing in it, right? It was just cold and clammy. And I'm like, and I said, "No, but thank you very much." And I went like this to look at my olive oil again. I'm like, right. And I look that way. They're not there. Then I turn around. He's gone. Now he's got another 30 feet to go, right? He was only gone. My gaze was only gone maybe 2 or 3 seconds. He would have been maybe 5 feet away from me. Gone. Gone. Now I start seeing people coming down the aisles. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I got it. Because in my manifestations, what I'm asking them, what's going to take place it was confirmation of like, they're confirming, are you sure you're going to go through with what you're going to go through with? All right. Because this is a big step, so that was them testing me to make sure that, that's what I was going to go through. And that same presence, when I was feeling him, that was the same presence in my second out of body experience, when I was in a completely different world and realm. And when I said, "Who are you?" and he said, "Jeffrey, I'm your guide. I've always been with you." So that was Jeffrey, right? Glitching the matrix while I'm grocery shopping to make sure that, what I'm telling them and manifesting is going to come true. Like, I'm going to go through with it. Like, and that was me saying, absolutely, So that just happened over Easter. So that was at the end of March, when that took place. So, and again, they're waking me up every day at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 to 1:30. I am up. I'll take a shower. I don't have to be to work till 8 o'clock. Okay. So now I sit and I'll meditate for about 20 minutes, half an hour, right? I'll lay down, I'll roll over. I look at the clock, 2:22 in the morning, roll over, doze again, wake up. What time is it? 3:33. Direct communication. They're there. They're saying, what you're asking for, what you're manifesting is coming through, so, and it's just, they're giving me the love and support and the guidance that, that is needed, because as I said before, you have to do the work. You came here for you. Okay. Nobody else. You didn't come here for your children, your spouse, grandma, grandpa, whatever. You came here for you. You have to do the work. And that's what Jesus was teaching. If you read, his autobiography, then you know that you have to do the work. Everything is here, right in here. It's been locked. It's been, but you have to go in to unlock it. You have to find yourself. And as I said before, and I'll say again, all of us are no different than Jesus. None, in any way, shape, or form. Except he had direct guidance from home his entire life. He was having a conversation like you and I are. He was guided to places and doing things. And when he was baptized, which he did not want to be, is when his enlightenment came, and when he transcended into the light body and was able to, do those, what we call miracles. And he was simply a mystic. He knew there was a union with God. Well, that's when he said, "I and the Father are one." Listen to that. That's a very powerful statement. And it's very true. I and the Father are one. You and the Father are one. And the sooner you realize that, you have to go within to find that. And the more you do, you will find that love. It will expand, So.
All right. We got a question from Lorne here. Thanks for that. What do you think about this?
Question: what do people mean by different frequency vibrations, certain souls? What I mean by that is we simply exist as energy. Okay. The body, the vehicle that you're in, isn't real. That's also a hologram. Okay. We simply exist as a frequency, like your radio station. The reason you can hear your radio station is because you match that radio station's frequency. If you didn't, it would come in as a static. Okay. We exist as a vibration, as energy. And the more you love and the more you go within, the higher you raise your vibration and your frequency, thus elevating yourself and raising that vibration. And you are able then to see your guides, your angels, and have, excuse me, the experiences that I am having. You simply exist as a ball of energy, nothing else. You've never been a human being. You will never be a human being. You simply, when it's time to come, if you've seen the movie Avatar, when he falls asleep and you see him go through the little thing and he enters the avatar and the avatar wakes up, that's exactly what we do. We're just a ball of energy.
Yeah, on the frequency, this referring back to the 40 Days, 40 Nights book by Tina Louise Spalding. In the first chapter, she spoke about this, also through Jesus as well, channeled the idea of separation. So that is something that we experience as a result of our human existence, and how we will go out of our way to make sure that we are separated. And one of the things was, take notice of when you go to the other aisle to avoid seeing someone, or notice when you will cross the street to avoid running into someone that you know, or that you'll cross the street to avoid going past someone's house that you know. Just take notice of those things, and then anytime you do that, lean into actually making that encounter occur. And I'm very much like that. Like I'll be quite happy doing my own thing and not calling someone who I've been thinking about for a while or whatever. And then watch what happens. Watch what happens when you reconnect with people, and that very act actually raises your vibration as well.
Correct. And being positive in your thoughts. Remember, everybody, your thoughts create your reality. You're very welcome, my friend. I love you. Remember, your thoughts are powerful. We are gods. So when we're creating, when you're sitting there in your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, right, you're creating your reality that you see on a daily basis. Okay. So if your thoughts are negative, like somebody pissed you off, I hope you, and you're going through all that negativity. Well, that negativity is going to go out into the non-physical. It's going to mix with all the other negative stuff, right? And then it's going to come back to you, and then you always get the response. Why does this shit keep happening to me? Why? Why? Because you're negative. That's the energy that you are putting out. That's your vibration. That's what you are going to attract, right? So if you look at a relationship, say a woman, a female, the female vehicle, right, is in an abusive relationship where she's beaten and hurt and verbally abused and stuff like that, right? So she leaves him and says, if I can only find the right man to love, and that's when the non-physical goes. And by that, I mean, you are that love. If you don't love yourself, right? If you can't love yourself and your vibration is that low, what do you think you're going to attract? You're not going to attract the top shelf. Nope. You're going to attract another rapist, another person that's going to beat you and hurt you and harm you, right? So you have to go within. I'm going to say this over and over again. You have to go in and raise your vibration and energy. You have to live in the frequency of love, which is the highest vibration there is. And that's why Jesus was allowed to do the things he did. He loved. He mastered love. So if I'm going to ask you a question, Rod, I want to see what your definition is, and that's for everybody watching tonight. What is love? What is love?
Well, for me, I guess it's a number of things, but one is acceptance and a lack of judgment. That's one for me. And the other way I think about it, it's the highest form of being. That's the way I look at it as well.
Well, all of you have the wrong definition of love. Love is everything. And let me explain that. So, I love music, right? So, that is a relationship. I have a loving relationship with music. It is the love of my life. You all look at love as relationship between two people, two beings. Wrong. If you love to take a walk in nature, that is a loving relationship. That is the love of your life. If you love to garden, that is the love of your life. It is a loving relationship. Okay? So don't limit yourself, because we limit ourselves to a relationship between two physical beings. That's a small percentile of it. Jesus loved everything. He mastered love. Going for a walk, fishing, talking, making love to his wife, preaching, teaching. Everything was the love of his life. He mastered love. And that is where I am at. I love everything. When I look at a relationship, people say, well, that's not what the church says. That's being in vain. That's a sin, right? No. Love is everything. That is the only thing that matters in this physical realm, is love.
Hmm. All right, we've got a question here from Big Black Spider X.
So hundreds of millions of people hate their...
I think you meant their job, like their job.
Yeah, I got to put my glasses on because I'm blind as a bat.
I read, so hundreds of millions of people hate their works or their job. What is the point of work/eat/sleep in the circle of soul growth? I think, given these negative experiences that a lot of people, what is the point of that? That's what he's asking in terms of your soul evolution.
You set up challenges for yourself before you came here to grow. You have to understand that the things that are causing you pain and suffering are the keys to your salvation. All right? They were set up for you to make your soul grow. It's how do you respond to that situation? Do you get angry, pissed off, threaten people, hurt people? Or do you step back and say, okay, what do I need to learn here? Okay? So it's a moment for your soul to grow, is why, everybody gets lost in the pain, right? They get hurt in the suffering, and then they sit there and they refuse to move. Well, what good is that going to do other than lower your vibration and frequency, right? So those things that are hurting you or suffering or causing you pain, you have to address it. You have to look at it and you have to move on, face it. And I know this is going to sound strange to a lot of you, but love it. Okay? And then when you love it, then forgive yourself for getting upset at it and then move on. It is simply a tool for you to grow from, for your soul to grow from. You are never in any physical harm, It is simply a tool for you to grow, our souls to grow from. That's all. But they just get lost in the pain.
Yeah, this is a question. I have watched a lot of Esther Hicks channeling Abraham Hicks in the past, and this is a very common question that people ask. And I won't for a moment try to say that your experience, Big Black Spider X, is anything other than what you are having. So I'm not going to try and convince you of otherwise. But what I will offer is that no matter what's happening, then the step number one is to try and shift it a little bit. If you're just stuck in this is awful, I hate this, etc., that vibration is just going to bring you more of the same. And maybe if you can just adjust it just a little bit and say, yeah, this is not what I want, and I'm glad that this has helped me identify that I don't want it. See how that vibration is just a little higher than this just sucks, right? And you might need to stay in this just sucks for a little bit. But if you can shift that a little bit higher, then you can go to, well, this isn't ideal, but it's a job, at least it pays. See how that's a little higher,
Right.
And
be
then,
grateful.
Yeah, so then you're starting to sort of get in from just complete this blows to, well, at least I'm grateful. And that is a much more positive, attractive energy. And you'll find things will start to shift for you. But you've got to be willing to actually try reframe it just a little bit in order to make that shift. But it can happen pretty quick. I can just talk from personal experience, and I think Jason as well, is that when you go from this blows to, yeah, this isn't great, but, and then
but look at what you have.
To add a little bit of a spin on it, and you find that things can change.
Yeah, and be grateful for what you have instead of complaining to Father.
So there's.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Now there's another question here from Big Black Spirit, sort of related to that. Can you read that?
Yeah, what to do with bad people? How can I love someone that is hurting me? X. Someone enters my home to rob me. Can I defend? Do I have to let them take everything? Do I have to let them hit me? Absolutely not. make no mistake about it. One, I know that the church has told you otherwise, that you're to sacrifice yourself, and coming directly from Father is bullshit. You come first. You are not to sacrifice anything in a relationship. I mean, if you need to compromise in your relationship, you need to end your relationship. You all need to jive like this. So if somebody's coming in to hurt you, you defend yourself. And if you end up killing them, well, then that's on them. And by no means will you be judged. No one is judged. So you have to love them, because what the best way to look at that when you're looking at a situation like that is you have to look at that person as yourself, because in essence it is yourself. There are 8 billion different versions of yourself on this planet right now. So look at them as you, and yes, defend yourself by all means. Protect yourself without question. God does not want you to lay down and just say, okay, do that. No, protect yourself. But look at that person as yourself and just realize how lost they are, and love them. And that's when, when people are attacking me, like through my channel, or saying I'm Satan or I'm possessed, as I just have to look at them and say, wow, that's a very angry version of myself. I forgive you. I love you, but I'm not going to put up with that. I wish you all the best of luck and goodbye. So, and then just let it go. But by all means, defend yourself, protect yourself. They're not bad people. They're just lost, and they're you. Okay. They're simply you. Remember,
it's a tough one to swallow, isn't it? That
Yep.
people are a reflection of what we see is a reflection of ourselves.
Yep. What does that say? Bad or good people, all on a journey, I think, to learn and to grow. It's not a race. No, you're here because you have a contract to fulfill, and only you can fulfill it. Nobody on this planet can do what you can do, and that is a fact. Nobody can. So you came here to do it, and you will accomplish that. I absolutely promise you, you will get it done. And when you get it done, you can go home, right? You may get hit in a car accident, or go to bed and not wake up, or slip in the tub and whatever, right? But there is no competition here. You're here to learn. You're here to grow. This is nothing more than a school. It's not real. It's all an illusion. But we come here into this low density, this low vibrational physical realm to experience all that we can, because we can't get it at home. So, and that's what these bodies are, or these suits are for. We cannot exist in such a low frequency realm. It will never happen. And that's why we have these suits, so we're just here to learn and grow.
Big Black Spider X.
Why should wars? If you want to come and experience, we'll use World War II, or we can even use these wars that are taking place right now, right? If a soul wants to experience what it's like to be in a war or combat, well, they're gonna arrange that at home, right? And then World War II happens. What's happening now, right? And you experience that. That was their choice, because why would they end? Because that's not who we are. We are love. And we should learn by our mistakes, right? But 2 millennia ago, we're still murdering each other and wanting to experience all this crap. It's not ending. And Father, believe it or not, or God's source, is getting tired of it, And that's why when I said in my video that, yes, World War III is coming, okay? And unless we change on a fundamental basis our thoughts and live in love and forgiveness, it's going to come. And all of those on this earth, before the golden age arrives, will be gone. Period. End of subject. We cannot be there. So in order to end that, we need to love. So, because we're not a warring species, we're nothing but unconditional love. And so doing this, when you have those feelings of, say, you said something wrong to somebody, or you hit somebody, right? And later that day, I shouldn't have done that, right? You're processing through your higher self that was, a mistake. So too many of us are lost right now, and that is why you're seeing the wars. There's no communication. There's hate. The world is being run by the ego. The ego is not your friend, remember? The ego is simply a false belief in your identity. You believe that you're a man. You believe that you're a woman. Well, you're not, right? And the difference between the male body and the female body also strengthens the illusion of separate, right? So that's where you get the hate and the anger and the rage. Well, we need to look over to our right. Excuse my language, everybody, but it's needed. Tell the ego to fuck off. Get out of your head, get out of those negative thoughts and get into love. Go into yourself, find your love. And then when you can find that love, you then express that love. And that is what we need to be doing right now on a massive scale to stop what's coming. And that is why I do what I do. When I see a cute woman, I get over a sense of happiness and love for them. That's beautiful. Absolutely. Love. Love is the only thing that matters. It's the highest vibrational frequency is. When you live in love, you will know it. And how do you know that? So when you're in love, right, you feel that warm, gooey feeling inside and you're smiling, you're laughing, you're hugging, you're kissing, you're making love, right? But then when you're out of alignment with your guidance system, right? What are you in? You're pissed off, you're angry, you're hate, you're screaming, you're depressed, right? That's your higher self telling you, hey, we need to get back on track. So listen to your feelings and emotions. That is how God talks to you. Okay? That is exactly how he talks to you. And most of us for millennia have boo-pooed it, right? You'll hear that sixth sense go off like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and you hear, no, don't go. You hear that voice in your head, don't go. That is direct communication from Father and your higher self saying something bad is going to happen if you leave. And most of us boo-poo it as, whatever, you know. And then next thing you know, you're in a car accident. Next thing you know, you lost your arm. You got shot, right? You're not listening. And that is direct communication, everybody, from home. So when you're in that lovey feeling, that is where you need to be. How do you tell the difference between guidance, intuition, messages, and fear? Well,
good question, Susie. Yep, I often ask this one.
That is a very good question. Like I said, when you're receiving guidance and intuition, like my intuition, I can tell before I even read an email or something, a chat in one of my videos, that it's negative, and I won't even read it. It'll just I'll hide you, and you'll get deleted. Now, when I'm talking to somebody in person, I know whether they're lying to me within 5 or 10 seconds. I will listen to what they have to say, and I'll say, you know what? I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck. Your intuition, again, is your higher self communicating with you. You have to be in tune with that. And those are the messages that you'll get, and I get them directly. I'll wake up and, I have a message. I wake up different every single day. Do you know how frustrating that is at times? I got mad like a week, 2 weeks ago when all of this started happening again. And I raised my voice. I said, I don't even know who the fuck I am anymore. I'm changing on a minute and daily basis, and, it's really frustration because, I'm advancing or ascending so rapidly that all my loves and passions that I've had throughout my life are now gone. Like, I haven't watched TV in over a year and a half. I, quit going to the movies. My love of playing bass has dwindled down to, almost non-existent anymore. And this is where I need to be. And the more I focus on this, the more experiences I'm having. And that's my higher self saying, yes, this is where you need to be. So listen, Susie, listen to those feelings and emotions. That is your higher self communicating with you. Father as well, your guides. And if you're feeling something like at work or you're at the grocery store and something just isn't right, pay attention to it. They're talking to you. They're talking to you. And that is how the non-physical speaks to you. They do it through your emotions and feelings. Listen to them. Pay attention to them. Do not dismiss them by any means. Do not dismiss them.
All right, we've got another question here, which we've sort of covered, but not explicitly.
All right. This is real simple. Love. Love is everything, as we stated. Learn to meditate. I boo-pooed it for years. And then when I started going through this ascension process last August, coming up on a year, I decided to give it a shot. It's that's okay, because you're changing, hon. Your body is transforming into a new body. Okay, so it's going from a carbon-based body to a crystalline, meaning that your cells are becoming crystalline, silica-based. Okay, what does silica do when it forms into something? It reflects and grabs light, right? A crystal, right? It grabs the light and it shines. Our bodies and Mother Earth are being inundated with a higher frequency of light and energy. The carbon body won't be able to handle it. So as we transition into these bodies, that is why you're feeling sick, dizzy, angry, frustrated, throwing up, really, really lethargic and tired. So during that process, I really began to meditate. And you can do it however you want. There's no right or wrong way, but go within yourself, quiet your mind, quiet it. And then when you can feel yourself, just start out with a simple mantra. I am in love with myself, or I and the Father are one. And just repeat it in your mind and control your breathing. Just every time you breathe, listen to it. And it doesn't have to be long. It's 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Me, sometimes I'll sit and meditate and it'll be 45 minutes later and I'm like, whoa. And that was beautiful. I feel refreshed. I feel loved. And the non-physical knows, I know. And you know why your mind doesn't shut up? You got to tell the ego to fuck off. You got to tell him, because the ego knows what you're trying to do, hon. The ego knows exactly what you are trying to do. And the ego does not want you communicating with home to be in love. When you're in love, the ego dies. Okay? The ego does not want that. So the ego is fighting for its very existence. So that is when you have to take control. And it's okay for him, that stuff, to quiet your mind. It takes time. It took me a good 7 to 8 months. You raise your vibration through that meditation and through love, positive thoughts, consistently positive thoughts. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, through forgiveness. I don't care what has happened to you, whether you were raped, whether you were molested, whether you were beaten, whether your husband or your wife beat you, you have to look at them and step out of that situation, and you have to forgive them. You have to forgive them.
This is related to that.
What's the best way to change? If he insults you, just look at them and say, hey, I'm sorry, I did something wrong to upset you. I hope you have a blessed day, and move on. Okay, there's no need to argue. There's no need to, if you were to turn around them and insult them back, right? What are you doing? You're climbing back down the ladder, aren't you? You're lowering your vibration and your energy, which you don't want to do. So when I look at, if somebody wants to disrespect me, I look at them and say, okay, this is an angry version of myself. I love you. And, I forgive you. I wish you the best of luck. And then turn around and walk away. It's how you choose to interact in that moment. That's the test. That's why you're here, right? Do you want to blow up at them and continue to climb down into the darkness? Or do you want to rise up and climb into the light in that higher energy? And that's how I do it. I don't get frustrated. I just feel empathy for them, how lost you are, and that's okay. That's their free will. They have every right to do that. Excuse me. So don't try and change their mind. Just simply say, hey, man, I'm so sorry. Whether it was your fault or not, doesn't matter. You're taking the high road, right? You're taking the love road, right? Say, hey, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. Forgive me, and have a blessed day. And then move on. And then while you're in your head, because, you can't stay in your head and say, that motherfucker, no. You have to say, I'm so sorry you're so upset. I love you. And I wish you the best of luck. It's changing your mind, right? You've let the ego take over for, all your life, and now you're taking it back. What's my favorite movie? There's two of them, and all of you should watch them. One of them is The Shack. Have any of you watched The Shack? Okay.
Is that Matthew McConaughey?
Not Matthew McConaughey. It's who is it? He was in Clash of the Titans. I can't think of his name.
I'll find it.
And then the other movie is called Risen, with Joseph Fiennes in it, and it takes place from a high-ranking Roman soldier, a prefect, and
so that's The Shack.
Yep, fantastic. Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington, right? Okay.
Yeah, Sam Worthington.
Oh, okay.
I won't give anything away, but it'll answer a lot of questions. It is beautiful.
And what was the other one?
And the other one is Risen.
Risen. Joseph Fiennes.
Joseph Fiennes. Yep. Now, if you take Catholicism out of it, because the church always wants to get its little tidbits in, that is an absolutely fantastic movie. Ah. It is absolutely fantastic, and how Yeshua is portrayed. So
interesting. I like how you come up with movies, both of which I've not seen because I watch a lot of movies.
And I won't watch movies anymore because a lot of it is, violence. And I want no part of violence anymore. I will not partake in it. Like watching John Wick or, The Expendables or, Saving Private Ryan, it's condemned by the non-physical. We are not, we are a loving entity, right? We're a multidimensional being living multi-lives right now. So it's condemned by the non-physical. How do you deal with ruthlessness, cunning people in business, or have sold there is no devil, period. The devil doesn't exist. But when you have to forgive them. You don't have to take part in what they're doing, right? If you're not happy at your job, quit, right? Move on. Go find something that, when you fit in, like when you go in for the interview, you'll know if it works for you, right? Or you'll know something is off, but you're so desperate for money that you take the job that you don't belong in because your higher self is saying no. So when you deal with those people, it's the same as somebody that came up and punched you in the face, right? Forgive them, move on. Just says, hey, man, I want no part of this. This is not who I am. I don't want any part of it. I wish you the best of luck. God bless, and move on. Remember what Jesus said. Do not fall in love with this materialistic world. It will bring you ruin, right? So if they want to live in that kind of cunningness and deception, that's their free will, right? If that's how they want to live in the darkness, that's their problem, not yours. Just simply say, I want no part of it. I love you. I do, but I'm out. Goodbye. And then move on. Forgive them. Talk to each other's all the time. You're never alone, guys. Never. I don't care whether you're taking a shower, you're taking a poop, you're making love to your spouse, you're out in the garden, you're mowing the lawn. They're right there next to you. You are never alone, okay? And if you want to see them and you want to feel them like I do, you have to raise that vibration. You have to get in there.
So the question is, do our guides talk to other people's guides?
No, they're really mainly focused on you. That's their mission. They'll never leave your side, ever. So they only communicate with you. That's what they were created for. They're there for your eternity. They will never leave you, but they only deal with you. Period. End of subject. That's their mission. Like your archangel is specific to you. They will never leave you, ever. Even though there's 7 archangels, remember, there's 8 billion of us, so you spread out those 7, right? Our bodies aren't real, so they can create, say 5 billion different versions of themselves at any different time to communicate with you, right? So they will never leave you, ever, 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 ever. And They will only deal with you. Now, when you're home, do they intermingle? Of course, but that's at home. That's in a higher, vibrational frequency, right? You're home, right? You're not in the physical, you're not in the body, and you're home. So yes, but then even when you're home, they will never leave you. Is there what points? Monitoring spirits?
Is there monitoring spirits? I'm not sure what you mean by that, John. Maybe you could. My take is that there spirits who are just watching out for us? I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe you could. We can always come back to that one if you want to explain yourself a little more there. There was. Sorry, Belinda just showed up too. Thank you for tuning in, Belinda. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Belinda. Hi. How is everybody? Does anybody want to come into the studio? Have a one-on-one?
Yeah. So I did put in the comments. I'll just drop it in again. If you do want to join in, let me just see. That it's a little lengthy, but you got to basically streamyard.com/, then you got to type in the rest of those numbers. That will put you in the studio, and you can come in and have a chat to Jason. And anyone that tries to misbehave, I'll ditch them straight away. But I'm sure nobody will want to do that, will they? Everyone here is really well behaved.
They would be dismissed pretty frequently. They would be dismissed pretty quickly.
All right. Another question here from Big Black Spider X.
How can I know my purpose in life? Because you'll be in alignment with your guidance system. Remember what I just said? When you're in alignment with your guidance system, right? You're in the frequency of love. You're laughing, you're joking, you're having fun, you're hugging, you're kissing, and you're just having a good old time, right? So if you go into a job that you don't want and you're like, I don't want to, you're out of alignment with your guidance system. Why? You're not supposed to be there. So you have, again, buddy, it goes within. You have to go within yourself and find yourself, okay? And that's where it starts. It all starts with you. You came into this physical realm to work on you. You come first, not your children, not your wife, not God, not anybody else. You. That's why you're here. You stood before Father, you flipped him the double bird, said, I'm an individual. I'm not you anymore. I want to do this. And his ultimate love for you is why you're sitting here right now. So you have to go within yourself, my friend. You have to find it. They will not direct you in it. But that's how you know you're in the right place, is when you are in love. When you're out in nature and you're like, this is so beautiful. What a beautiful day. And you're feeling all of that. You are in alignment with your guidance system, which is a direct shot home. Anything other than that, you are out of alignment. You're in the darkness, and your higher self is communicating with you to find that alignment again. Don't accept whatever comes. You're in control of your life. God didn't pick this life for you. You are. So if you're not happy with it, fix it. Whatever it is, your job, your marriage, where you're living, everything. It all begins with you, but you have to do the work.
And can I add something to that as well, which I find useful? Your feelings are a great barometer of where you are in track, whether you're on track with what you really should be doing. Should is not the right word, but your preferences are fairly apparent. So just take notice of the things that you're excited about, the things that you're passionate about, and do that in each moment. So you might find that you are enthusiastic and passionate about something for a period of time, and then that kind of wanes. And sometimes people can get trapped in the idea, well, I started down this road and I've really got to keep going, right? Well, it can change. Your path can change, and sometimes you just need to learn something, and then there's something else going on. So just take notice of what is it that I'm excited and curious about right now. This is the way I answer my son's asked me this question not recently. He said, well, how do I know what I should do with my life? Well, just stick with what you are interested and curious about and passionate about, and you just absolutely cannot go wrong. So just do that to the best of your ability. Take it as far as you can go until you can't go any further. And what's really important is don't have any expectations about how it's going to turn out. So the less that you worry about how it's going to turn out, then the better off that you'll be. So the number one thing is just follow what you're curious about, follow what you're passionate about, and everything will work out okay for you.
Because love is everything. Like we were stating, I love to play bass. That is a loving relationship. That is the love of my life. Follow it, and I do. listening to music, gardening, walking in nature, going for a swim. It's all in your mind, and follow those feelings. Do I ever get to see my higher self? No. As right now, I don't remember leaving my body at night. We all go home at night. We all go home, talk to our overlord, who's in charge of our growth and spirituality and stuff like that. We all go have a powwow, and we, hang out with friends, and then we wake up. But when I was going through my ascension process pretty heavily last year, is when I said my higher self was hovering right above my body. And I mean, but you have to, in order to see that higher self, again, it comes from that higher vibrational frequency, right? I felt several times someone get off my bed. Like I will roll over, like when I'm waking up, and I'll feel somebody go like this, stand up, and I roll over, and I was like, there's nobody there, but somebody was sitting by me, protecting me and keeping me safe, right? So, and if my energy wasn't high enough, I wouldn't be able to sense or feel that. But because I'm vibrating at such a high frequency, I can see full-bodied apparitions. Like a month ago, I was sitting on the pot. I looked over, and someone in a white robe, I only saw half of their body, walked right through my bedroom. And I was like, all right, guys, what do you need? I'm here. I can see you, So you have to, again, man, I'm going to talk about it and preach about it. Raise that energy of yours, and you will start to see those things. You will start to see your guides. You will feel them next to you. So, but I have not seen my higher self yet. The only part of me in here driving this vehicle is my personality, right? Which you acquire over hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. That's the only part of me that's here. The rest of my higher self, and that's where you get duality. You've heard that we're experiencing duality, right? Because our consciousness is split. Most of me is up there, but the part driving the vehicle here is my personality. So, and I see myself every night. I just don't remember it. So, you don't remember it, right? But if you watch little kids, they'll see, they'll be pointing to somebody. You see that up there? You see him? And like, who are you talking to? He's right there, right? Because little children are of such high frequency and vibration. They see their guides, and it as, their little imaginary friend, right? Who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to Bobby over here. Who's Bobby? There's nobody sitting over there. They can see them. Why? Because they're in the highest form. They love unconditionally, right? They're still getting guidance from home. So when you hear, your son or daughter, oh my, she's over here, listen to them. There's somebody there. They're communicating. They're giving them love and guidance, right? Why do you think babies cry? They're terrified. They left oneness. They left home. They're terrified. Don't stick a bink in their mouth. Don't shut them up in front of the TV. Pick them up and hold them. Love them. That's what they're missing. They're scared. And little ones are scared. That's why they have their imaginary friends. I had one. And it made me think about this couple weeks ago, is the grabber ghost. They would always pull my sheets off my bed, right? And I'm wide awake, and the sheets are moving away, and they tickle my hand and grab my hand and play with me, And my mom was like, who are you talking to? I was like, oh, the grabber ghost was in here. And she'd be like, there's nobody in here. And I'm like, there's somebody in here, okay? Because they're pulling my sheets down. So, again, it's all about your frequency. And me coming into this timeline, is I asked again, like, who am I? Why do I have this? And in my video feed popped up the chosen. Well, what is it? What are the chosen ones? And I was handpicked by God to help the human race evolve. I've been here, like when I asked my guide my second out-of-body experience, how many times have I died when I was in that other realm and on that other planet, right? And he said, it was, again, just telepathically, he said, you've died over 3,200 times. I said, 3,200 times? And I'm like, and he said, you're ancient. And I'm like, pulled back into my body and up on the couch. And I was like, it took me 2 years to figure that out. And then when I was going through that process of the chosen one, because somebody said, well, you must be a really shitty, in one of the comments in my videos, died 32. Well, you must be not getting the point. You must be pretty lame and stupid. And, I hid them from the channel. But then all of a sudden the light bulb went off, being chosen, right? And somebody, that had been doing NDE researchers was in an ion sharing group, and he immediately raised his hand and he says, do you know that you've been walking this earth for 20 to 30,000 years helping people? He said, that's amazing. So all of that, you see how all of that knowledge all of a sudden comes in, and then all of a sudden the chosen and it made sense. I keep coming back to help humanity rise. Then I have my NDE to do exactly, get me back on track to what my purpose was here as a teacher. Hi, Trevor.
Hey,
welcome.
Trevor, thanks for joining us. Let's pick out another question here for you.
Yeah. You got to remember, guys, there is no bad. God does not create anything that is evil or bad. Okay? Evil and bad comes from your own mind. You label that experience as good or bad. Okay? There is no devil. There are no fallen angels. It is impossible. Impossible. So in your head, you're creating that. Remember, you're a God. And when you are a God, you create. So if you're saying that there is evil, then what are you going to create? Evil, right? And even though it doesn't exist, it's just a low vibrational state, right? So, when you watch a scary movie and then all of a sudden the lights go out and you hear a door slam and you're creating that own fear in your head because it doesn't exist. The lights come back on, you're like, what the hell was I scared about, right? So no, there are no bad spirits. It's simply your mind. You're creating that in your mind, nothing more.
I'm not sure what you mean there, Susie.
So, when you see you're looking to the mirror out of the body. When I was when I had my near-death experience, even though I never physically with my own eyes, clearly, because I was on a bed, but I was up at the ceiling. When I looked at my body, I had no love of it. I mean, it was like, I didn't care. It meant absolutely nothing to me. And when I was out of my first out of body experience, I went through the tunnel back home. So I've never seen myself other than my NDE looking at my body. So, but some people that have out of body experience can look at themselves and say, or in the mirror or out of the mirror or whatever. Because remember, when you leave your body, you're not in the physical realm anymore. You're in, a transitionary place in a higher dimension. So, people can have those experiences and look at it as, a face-to-face, mirror image. But, I had no love of my body. I did not want to be in it. It's heavy. It stinks. It's just blah. But in the same aspect, I love my body. How many of you tell your body that you love it? Don't worship it by going to the gym and working out and putting all your fancy makeup on and, I adore myself. No, because what has your body done for you? Everything you want it to do, right? Raise your hand, go to the bathroom, go to sleep, scratch, itch, whatever you tell it to do, it does, right? So be grateful for your body. Thank it. Love it. Because without this vehicle, you're not allowed to come here. You won't exist here. So, but people can have those experiences and, have that mirror look, and you're confused by it because you're looking at it and you're saying, what is that? That kind of looks like me, but you don't have any love for it. I certainly did not. And I certainly did not want to get back in it by any means, even though I was begging God not to die and Father and my children. And once I was gone home, I was like, I don't care. I want to stay. And I was gently laid back in, my soul was pushed back into my vehicle, and then I was put out. So, but to have those experiences, you got to raise that vibration. And meditation is a great way to do that. Great way to do that.
I had one experience like that, Susie. I've only had one out-of-body experience, and the first place I went to was the mirror, and it was very I couldn't see myself, but it was a very like faint outline, but it was the first thing I wanted to try, and then I thought, oh, I'm just going to go outside because I can't really see myself there, and I didn't want to get hung up on it. But yeah, and I think those experiences are as many as there are individuals. I think, Jason's NDE was unique to him. Someone else's is unique to them. There are some commonalities, but everyone has their own, because we're all, we've all got our own unique background experiences, the way that we think. They all contribute to, how some of these spiritually transformed experiences turn out. So let me just see if I've got any other questions. How much more time have you got, Jason? I've got about 15 minutes left before I need to move on. So we've got a few more here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Beautiful.
So let's see. Big Black Spider X.
What comes after dying? Why are we here? Some people are interested, but some think I'm crazy and say bad things. Yeah, absolutely. Don't ever give up. Don't. Love is beautiful, and that's what we're here for. So when people get mad because they're stuck on the Bible, right? They're stuck on that stupid book written 2 millennia ago by powerful people that didn't have anything to do with Jesus's message. So when you talk to them about that, they get upset because they see the ugliness inside themselves, because you're showing that to them, right? And when people get upset by the things I say in my near-death experience, they get mad. So I will never give up. I will never give up. And you keep trying. Absolutely. And when they get mad or belligerent with you, say, you know what? I love you. I wish you all the best of luck on your journey. And you keep rolling, brother. Okay? You keep rolling. Don't stop, because this is what the world desperately needs right now. It needs love. We need to change before World War III happens. It's coming. It'll be here in about 10 to 15 years. Okay? And once that happens, you are going to see suffering that you have never seen. And we can't allow that to happen. I will not. So don't stop. You keep trying. And you combat their negative energy, you combat their hate with nothing but love. That's how
I'd add one thing to that, is that don't be put off. And if you are put off when you talk about it with people, then I don't think there's any, and of course we're always going to have different opinions, Jace. This is what I love about these conversations. I don't think there's anything wrong with being discerning about who you talk to about, because I found that myself, is like and that's part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel, is because then I could talk with people who think like I do, right? And talk about topics and it kind of, it helps that grow in me. But if I was to then, I've got a wide circle of friends, and my wife does too. If I was to talk about every single one of those friends in rapid succession, then they pretty quickly start saying, well, Rod's lost it, right? So you don't want to be in that situation where I think you can just completely put people off. So I'd say, if you're finding that people who you talk, and maybe they are close friends or whatever, then, maybe just being a bit more discerning about who you actually speak to is a way to go, because then that doesn't get you in a situation where you just don't want to talk to anybody about it. And that's not good. That's not good for the planet either.
Follow your intuition. Again, those that are here listening to this podcast right now are of a higher frequency, right? You're being drawn to it. Why? There's something within you that is pulling you in this direction. So continue to follow that. Don't dismiss it. Trevor, Jason, I just found you and have some time left on this journey, and your story have been so comforting. I'm beyond grateful. I am deeply honored that I have been able to touch you and reach you so deeply. Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're more than welcome. I enjoyed it. It was, I reached out to Rod. It's like, boy, that last video I did blew up. And what thing? Yeah, I enjoyed very much. What music do you like and listen to and play? Well, I'm a product of my generation. I'm a Gen X. I was born in 1970. So I grew up listening to my dad's music, like Fleetwood Mac, The Doors, the Doobie Brothers, Janis Joplin. My mom was in the country, couldn't stand it. So But then again, a teenager in the 80s. So, let's see, The Cult, Great White. I love pop, Duran Duran. Um, and that's what I play, like John Mellencamp. So all of that stuff, classic rock. Yep. And the 80s stuff, like Motley Crue, Def Leppard, all of that stuff. That's just me. So, and when I play bass, it just depends on my mood, on what I want to play, what I want to learn. Um, and again, that is a loving relationship, guys. That is a loving relationship, and it's the love of your life. So, and that is what love is about. Steve Vai is a phenomenal guitarist, absolutely phenomenal. You know,
All right, we've got a question here from Trevor.
I'm not that familiar with the Tibetan monk, but really, when we started this grand experiment of ours, was almost kaput in 1982. Father or God, source, had enough, and was going to call it quits and just wake us all up and say we're done with this experiment. It didn't work. But then we changed and we began to love. And he said, "Ho, ho, ho." So then he initiated the okay for Earth to ascend and all of us to start transitioning into our crystalline bodies. But I don't know if it's the same as the rainbow body. We have 3 forms that we come in, or we will be in. First is the carbon body, which we're really moving out of that right now. And I know I'm really not the carbon body anymore because of all the symptoms that I'm having. So then after the crystalline body comes the body that you know of that Jesus had, which was the light body, right? He was able to walk through the walls. He was able to do all of that. And it's really absorbing more and more of that higher vibrational light and frequencies. That's why you'll notice backaches, headaches, maybe even teeth aches. Like my back is aching all the time. It's because your body is inundating your spine with higher light frequencies, and it's going to cause you massive discomfort. And it has, believe me. I didn't have it at first, but right now my back is killing me. I've been having headaches again, and it's just very uncomfortable. So, and if you watch my video that I did on Ascension. You'll get to see and hear that, as well as other things. But no, I'm not that familiar with the Tibetan monk lore.
So the Cliff's Notes for that, it's a belief in Tibetan Buddhism that highly realized masters who have perfected certain spiritual practices can dissolve their physical bodies into light when they die. So it's kind of like, in Star Wars, when I think it was Obi-Wan Kenobi died.
Yeah, and he comes back.
Yeah. And when he died, but his body just kind of disappeared. There was just the clothing, and that was it. That's
right.
That's the Tibetan practice.
Well, that's what we are. We simply exist as energy, right? So yes, when we leave our bodies, we do not have a form. We simply exist as energy. When we're home, we can take the form of, I can make myself look like myself, or another one of my lives at any particular point in time. So those that have mastered that's why Jesus could do what he did. He mastered the body, right? He knew it was an illusion. He knew it wasn't real. And when he was transformed into his light body, he could do that. When people came to stone him, when he walked around the corner, he just disappeared. And they were like, where'd he go, right? He could do that. We all have that capability, just not right now. We are ascending into that body where, we can do that. And that is coming. But right now, ours is simply just the crystalline body, which is in the ascension with our 5D consciousness right now. So that's why all of this is happening. So, but yes, one day, you're just not going to be here. When you leave your body, you're just simply going to pop out as a softball size of energy, and you'll go home.
All right. I think we got time for one more question. All right. Yeah. I suspect you might go on a bit of a rant on this one, but
Okay, question. How can you possibly take faith seriously? How can anyone in their right mind ask others to believe in the existence of a deity who makes
I think
how
he meant
Jews?
so Christians know how Jews feel.
That's that's a deep question. I don't know if I can answer that in time. So how can you
Probably I'd say the first part of that sentence.
how can you in their right mind ask others to believe? Because it's not about you asking others to believe, Russell. It's about you believe. Do you believe? Remember, I told you, you come first. I mean, I come first, then God, then my children. And then if I had a spouse, my spouse. But in all honesty, I don't care what other people believe. That's your choice, right? So it's just believing in yourself. Do you believe in yourself? You got to go deeper with that. Is like, do you love yourself? It doesn't really take faith. If you don't know who you are, then how can you know, go around believing in anything else? That's I don't know if I explained that the right way.
Yeah,
It's
I've got a sense of where he's coming from. Actually, if you don't mind.
yeah. Go ahead.
My impression is that Russell, you see people who have these beliefs that really don't gel with you. But I think the important thing to remember is you've got to let people have their beliefs, because whether or not they appear correct or they just seem crazy, I mean, that's their beliefs. And it's I think it's better to actually let them have them rather than get hung up with that's crazy, that's stupid, because it kind of leaves you in this space of, I don't know, just a poor vibration. For me personally, I find that it's a lot more empowering to sort of go, well, it's not what I believe, but they're your beliefs, and that's cool, But I'm not going to believe it, and I've got all this evidence to say that this is why, and that's enough. I wouldn't get too hung up on, because it can just lead you down to you're just living other people's sort of broken lives and not living your best life. That's what I would add.
Yeah, you're going to climb down the ladder. That was actually that was much better than what I was trying to say. But it's people try to push off their spirituality on you or their religious beliefs, and that's why you need to read the Bible. No, I died. I know the truth. If you want to get stuck in that rut, you stay in that rut. That's your personal choice. I know the truth. That's why I started this YouTube channel. When I did a lot of the interviews, a lot of what I had to say would get cut out. Now that's not being cut out. That's it. Let the chips fall where they may. You work on you. Who cares what your neighbor thinks or believes? That's their choice. That's their free will. From the time you came out of mom, you were inundated with free will. Once I died, I left Christianity. I left it like a fart in the wind. It was gone. I wanted no part of that bullshit anymore, those lies, that manipulation, to keep you living in fear, to keep you living in a low vibrational state on purpose. Period. It is meant to do that. So when I left Christianity, I was free. I felt free. I commune with my Father. I commune with my archangel and my guides. And we were talking earlier with the numbers now being in my face all the time, like 333, 444, 1010, 1212. It's like just before we came on, what time is it? Oh, 555. So those are direct communications. So yes, let those chips fall where they may. You work on you. Do not worry about what they say. And if they want to get in your face about it, again, hey man, I'm sorry. That's your belief. That's fine. Good luck. I wish you well. And then you go about working on you. And as you say, let the chips fall where they may, because you come first. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You come first. That's why you came into this realm, to work on you, nobody else. That is a fact. And I'm going to leave you with something else, because a lot of people get upset with this. They're like, if you did not experience it, this is coming directly from source, God, Father, whatever. If you did not experience it, You have no business commenting on it or telling somebody that they're wrong. It'd be like me telling a mother that childbirth doesn't hurt. She's going to look at me and just like, whatever, pal, right? But I can say that you didn't. It doesn't hurt. It simply doesn't hurt. And I'm pretty sure that I can't even begin to imagine the pain of that taking place. But you understand my point of view, right? If you didn't experience it, you have no business commenting on it. That is coming directly from Father. So I will leave it at that. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks everyone
blessed.
for showing up today.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so very much. That's why I started this channel. And just remain in love.
All right. We actually got one. Hang on. I've got one. All right. Here we go. One last one. Let's see if we can deal with this quick, because it's not his first live stream, so I feel bad for him.
Okay. I've been listening to Jason for a while and believe him, but how can I believe all these NDEs that I watch and really
easy.
want to believe when they have such concept of the afterlife? Because even though I know this is going to be difficult for you, but we're all one, okay? But in the same aspect, Father made us differently. We all have different colors, different auras, different energies, okay? We're all the same, but we're all one. So my NDE was specifically detailed for me. It was kind of like a bitch slap, right? It was what was needed for me to find my path. Each soul energy is different, 100%, absolutely correct. And it got me back online. So even though they have all these same similarities, they're also different because it is detailed for them, for a specific reason to get them back on track, okay? And it goes back to you wanting to believe in the Bible as it should be this way. No, the Bible is wrong. Watch my video on that, okay? It's garbage. So it is detailed for each specific being to get them back on track. And only those that have NDEs are ones that are of the highest frequency that can handle what is about to take place, right? You can't go from there and then come back into this physical realm and say, wow, that didn't really happen. No, it fundamentally changes you in every aspect. Who I thought was once Jason Janis was simply an illusion, a figment of my imagination. He doesn't exist. What exists is the love of who I am. And I will say it again. I and the Father are one, meaning I am God, as you are, as Rod is, as the children. I love you all so very much. Thank you for showing up tonight.
Thanks, guys. Good to hang out.
Bye, guys.